All right, welcome everyone. This is an information session on study abroad in Spain or Latin America. Thank you for coming today. Maybe go to the next slide. So we'd like to start with some quick introductions. My name is Marty McGivern. I'm a director of study abroad at DePaul. And I'm also a study abroad advisor for a couple of the programs that we are going to talk about today, specifically those in Mexico. And I'll pass it over to my colleague, Alma.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alma Sandoval, and I'm an advisor in the Study Abroad office. I specifically advise on our program in Madrid, as well as our programs, some of our programs in Latin America, specifically our programs in Chile and Peru.
All right, should I introduce myself? I'm Glenn Carmen, professor of Spanish and the director of the Spanish program. And I am involved in the study abroad in various ways over the years. And this coming December, I'm planning to take students to Argentina with my colleague, Clara Orban. We'll be studying the world of wine and an introduction to Argentina's history and culture. But I'm also dying to go to Merida, and I'm very acquainted with the Madrid program.
And we have actually two students with us today, Claire and Olivia, that have each done a program. So if Claire and Olivia, could you just introduce yourself and your program quickly, and then we will loop back to you to ask you some more in-depth questions about those programs.
Yeah, hi, I'm Claire. I did the Merida Language, History, and Culture in the Yucatan winter 2020. So a full year ago now, I was in Merida, which is kind of depressing looking back at my look back 1 year and now it's a pandemic. But yeah, I'd love to answer any questions you might have later.
Yeah, same here. My name's Olivia, and I did the Madrid program also a year ago, which is, I'm still kind of in denial about it, but yeah, I'm excited for y'all to learn more about study abroad and to answer any questions y'all might have.
Okay, my colleague Alma and I are just going to give you a kind of very, very quick study abroad 101 on these topics that are listed here. So it's important to think about, you know, students ask us, how do you select a program? I mean, the most important things to think about are what's important to you, what are your goals, what are you trying to get out of this? And then on the flip side, are there any barriers or anything that we have to, you know, sort of work around? So, many of you probably are here because you study Spanish language. Is it a goal for you in study abroad to really improve your Spanish language? Is it important for you that you want to have an experience where you're really kind of independent on your own, or would you like to be more with a group and have some extra support, including from a faculty member from DePaul? Is there a particular place that you would like to be? Those kind of things in terms of goals. And then barriers, what do we have to work with? What are some of the realities that we have to figure out? Is cost gonna be an issue? Do we need to find a lower cost program for you? Is there a particular time of year that you're able or not able to be away? Do you have other majors or minors that we need to make sure you can get the credits for? So you can attend a full study abroad 101 session to talk about these a little bit more in depth, or work with an advisor to help you do this. So I'll turn over to my colleague to just give a quick intro to study abroad program types and features.
So in terms of study abroad program types and features, you know, we offer either short-term programs, so where you take a course on campus or online, whatever format they will be in the future, but you take it with a DePaul faculty member, and then you travel with your classmates over a break, so either December break, spring break, or summer break. And then we also offer term-long programs, so where you go abroad either for a quarter or up to a full academic year and study at one of our partner institutions in that location. And so you're very immersed into that country, into the local host culture. And so in terms of study abroad program types, those are two big key differences, but a lot of these programs offer differences in support, which Marty was mentioning. The short-term programs, you go with a faculty, you have a lot of support. But the term-long programs are a set of programs where you could be very independent. You can be enrolled at that institution and are a student at large and can really become immersed in that local university, participating in student clubs or other activities that that organization may have. In addition to that, other features you may look at in terms of program types are the different types of housing. So for example, on our Madrid program, we offer homestays. That's the housing type for that program. But some of these other programs, so like our programs in Lima or Viña del Mar, the students arrange their own housing. So you have that independence to choose the type of housing you want to live in, whether it's an apartment or a different type of housing option while you're there. So those are some of the different program types and features. And now, Marty, do you want to go into financial aid and scholarships?
Yeah, so in terms of financial aid, any DePaul study abroad program that you do, your financial, whatever you normally get for financial aid, it just applies automatically with very, very normally. In addition to the tuition that you pay for your classes, you'll always have a program fee, and that'll really depend on what's included in that program fee, and then the cost of living in a particular location. So it's important to really always understand what's included there. You can sometimes ask financial aid to increase your cost of living for that particular term that you're going to be away, if you're going to have additional costs that you don't normally have if you were staying in Chicago. For scholarships, all students who apply for study abroad are automatically considered for study abroad scholarships to count toward that program fee. There's no separate application. There used to be, and there no longer is. They are mostly need-based. Academics are considered, but need is prioritized based on your FAFSA that's already filed with financial aid. In addition to aid from DePaul Study Abroad, there are some external specific scholarships for study abroad, and there are a couple of internal DePaul scholarships that we can direct you to as well, including a scholarship from the Department of Modern Languages that applies if you're a modern language student. So check on our website. There's a whole page of tons of resources on scholarships specific to study abroad. Alma?
And then if you go to our website, so like Marty said, to check out financial aid and scholarships, you can also see our contact list and our Study Abroad 101 schedule. So we gave you just a really brief Study Abroad 101, but we host Study Abroad 101 sessions every single day. And so you can, once you go to our website, you can see the Study Abroad 101 schedule, and you can see contact info for various advisors and program managers in our office. So you can contact them to get more information about the specific programs. We're definitely here to help. So we are going to move on and have our alumni share their own experiences. So to start off, Claire, can you talk about your experience in Merida?
Absolutely. So Merida is a term-long program. It is run in the winter, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it is the only program that is just run for the winter quarter. And so it's just that 10 weeks. I think I was there for like 12 because I went a little bit early. And how did I decide on that program? So Merida is very unique. It is more of a guided program than an independent program. So you go with a group of DePaul students and a faculty member, which is generally reserved for the short-term program. So it's pretty unique that we have a long-term program like this. And I really liked it because I got really, really close to the group of people I was with. And so we took classes together, all 20 of us. And so we had Spanish classes every morning and we divided up into 3 or 4 different groups. And so there were 5 in my class. And then we had a class on immigration taught by a DePaul professor, Marissa Alicia. And so that was Tuesdays and Thursdays, just like a regular DePaul class. There were 20 of us, and including with the professor. And then we also did a community engagement course. So on Mondays, we would have an actual course on community involvement. And then on Wednesdays, we would do volunteer work in the community with a local women and children's group. And so I chose it because it was very guided because I didn't really have to do anything. It was a homestay program. So I didn't have to deal with my own living expenses or anything like that. It was all included. This is a relatively cheaper program. I spent the same amount in Merida as I would have renting an apartment in Chicago. So the program fee basically totaled the same. I think it was like actually like $300 less than I would have if I stayed in Chicago for those like 3 or 4 months. And I just got a subletter at my apartment, so it was really easy. It worked out really well. How did the program relate to academic studies? So this program, it is a kind of combination of Spanish, Latin American and Latino studies, and community engagement. And you can choose if you do the courses in community engagement and Latin American and Latino studies in Spanish or English. So what I actually ended up doing is I worked it out with my honors director. So the class on immigration actually counted for an honors class that they offered over immigration, which was really great because I'm graduating a full year early. So I was kind of like freaking out that my courses wouldn't count. And then the community engagement class, I took the entire thing in Spanish. So all of the assignments I did in Spanish, and I chose to speak in Spanish in the class, and most other students did the same thing. And then my Spanish classes, obviously I did in Spanish. So I think I got 3 of the courses in Spanish and 1 of them counted for an honors class, which was amazing. I didn't even know that was an option, but Study Abroad and the honors program worked with me to make sure that would happen because I was so pressed for time graduating a full year early. So yeah, studies and academics, like whatever your plan is, like Study Abroad can make it work. And so from the experience, like although you are on a guided experience, you do have classmates and you have a faculty there, like it is very independent. You're living in another country for 3 months, pretty much by yourself. And so I really learned a lot about myself and just kind of who I was as a person. And so if you're even just debating studying abroad or not, you're not at the point where you're like, okay, what program should I do? If you're just really debating, is study abroad right for you? Like, yes, it is, 100% do it. You will learn so much about the world and really just kind of get to know yourself on a deeper level, which I think study abroad is pretty much one of the only experiences where you get to do that, especially at this time in our lives where we don't have very many other responsibilities. So yeah, do you guys have any questions about Merida or just studying abroad in Latin America or anything like that?
If there's nothing burning right now, we can move to Livia's reflection and then cover a couple more things, and then we'll open for questions at the end. And if you think of something right now, go ahead and pop it into the chat. Thanks, Claire.
Yeah. So again, I went to Madrid. I did the study abroad program in Madrid. It was also for 3 months. It was fall quarter, all of fall quarter. It was also pretty guided program as well. We didn't have any like DePaul professors teaching any classes. It was all at Spanish universities, and all of your classes are in Spanish. When you first get there, you take like a placement test, and everyone in your program, all the DePaul students get placed in a different level, and then you take Spanish classes based on that. But all of your classes are in Spanish. And you also get to meet other international students from different countries. There were a lot from like China and Italy, which was really cool. How did I decide on the Madrid program? I just like I always wanted to um, learn more Spanish and kind of connect with that side of my culture. And also, Madrid is just one of the coolest cities in the entire world. I'm obviously a little bit biased, but yeah, I really wanted to go to Europe and learn more about like the history of Spain. And we got to travel around, do little like weekend trips. One time we went to Segovia, which is in Spain, obviously. We also went to Dorne. So if anyone's seen Game of Thrones, then we went to like the Palace of Dorne, which was really cool one weekend. Um, and you also get like free weekends as well. So I traveled like outside of Spain too, which was a really cool opportunity. Um, how did the program relate to my academic studies? Well, I wasn't even a Spanish minor before Madrid. I just wanted to learn more Spanish and kind of learn more about the culture, just because it interested me in general. Um, but after that, I pretty much had a Spanish minor anyway, so I was like, why wouldn't I just have a Spanish minor? Um, and then what did I gain from the experience? You are definitely outside of your comfort zone. It was a homestay, so you get paired with another person in your DePaul program. So I lived with another girl, and our host mom spoke zero English. So I was like really having to step outside of my comfort zone, which ended up being a really rewarding experience. I also made some really great friends that I still talk to on a daily basis. So advice I would give is to just go for it. I mean, just apply, even you have nothing to lose. I was also on a scholarship as well, which was great. I mean, it didn't cover the whole thing, but like it definitely helped. So just apply for a scholarship, apply for the abroad program that you decide on, because no matter where you end up, Merida or Spain, it's going to be like an amazing experience. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Olivia. And we will now pass it over to Professor Carmen.
Hi, everyone. I'm just going to talk about our Spanish program, which is intimately involved with all of the study abroad programs in Spain and Latin America. And I don't know where you're all coming from, so I'll just say a few words just in general about the early levels of Spanish, basic, intermediate, and the early advanced courses that we have. We have two tracks one track for people who learn or we're learning Spanish primarily through school, the L2 learners, for whom it's a second language, and heritage learners, people who've learned primarily through the family. They may have studied Spanish or maybe not, but we found, and this is quite clear, that to have courses designed for each type of student really works well at these levels. The advanced courses that we have a variety that you can choose from, and some of that variety you can see in the you can choose from also when you study abroad. Most students who study abroad are, if in Merida or Madrid, will, if they're not Spanish majors, they can get a Spanish minor because they're getting most of the classes. Now, I would point out that the Merida program does allow students to go at a lower level, so that that is one difference between the two programs. The Madrid program, you must be at an advanced level to go. All the students are at the advanced level. The Merida has a mix, and so you can, as Claire did, basically get a minor worth of courses, or almost the whole minor while you're there. But if people also go at a lower level, and so that's another option for Merida. That's different. So our advanced courses, you can see we have an array of things that people study, but we also have an array of minors. And so I wanted to point out that although so most students minor when they go abroad if they're not majoring, but there are different types of minors that we have in Spanish besides the standard Spanish minor. There's one in commercial Spanish, one in Spanish linguistics, Spanish translation, and coming new this next year, we're proposing and very optimistic about a new certificate in health Spanish, people who are interested in health professions. So let me know if you're interested in any of these. And as for study abroad, first I'd say that, here in Chicago, we're already connecting to communities in Chicago as well as universities in Latin America. We have e-tandems, so language conversation partners in Mexico City and Colombia for some of our courses. We have students working with local organizations that support recent immigrants, such as Erie House, cultural organizations in Chicago, like the National Museum of Mexican Art or the Cervantes Institute. So we try to engage the students here in Chicago as well as abroad. But studying abroad, that is the place where the students can really improve their oral proficiency. And even if you go on a short-term study abroad program, it'll help you with your language and intercultural skills. But if you go on a longer program, you can really make a lot of headway in improving your oral proficiency. My advice to help you do that, one, there are many things you can say, but I will just say one thing as far as advice for students with their Spanish in general and then studying abroad is to explore your interests. Find ways to explore your own interests. Now that might be cooking, it could be dance, maybe it's your church or politics or music. Anything that you're really excited about, you can already, before you even leave the country, find a way to explore that interest online and get use Spanish to explore that interest and incorporate Spanish into your everyday life. And this is one thing that helps you meet people when you're abroad, or and keep relationships and keep the Spanish going afterward. So that's one piece of advice I'd have for people studying abroad. And I'm very happy to talk to people as far as how this could fit into a Spanish, how studying abroad can fit into a minor or a major. And also, we try to be flexible for people studying abroad with this major and minor, because we really encourage study abroad. So we find ways to make it work within the major or the minor.
That's great. Thanks a lot. So we're going to list out here a set of programs that we DePaul Study Abroad offer in Spain and Latin America, and probably just give you like a really one-sentence description, so we'll have time to answer questions. And then you can go to our website and read more about these. Each of these programs has a program contact that's going to be either Alma or me, and then we're happy to talk more in depth about them. So Alma, should we just go through the list real quick and give a quick description?
Mm-hmm. Sure. So I can start off with Madrid. So I'm the program contact for that. And a quick note, I forgot to mention in my intro, I actually did this program 10 years ago when I was a student at DePaul. And this is, like Glenn mentioned, for more intermediate advanced level students, and you live in a homestay. So it's a really great program to get immersed. It will push you out of your comfort zone, like Olivia mentioned, especially if your homestay family, most homestay families won't speak English. So it's a really great program to push your skills in Spanish.
Great. And the next is a program at the Universidad Panamericana that has 2 campuses. That's why it has 2 city names in the title. So if you choose this program, it has 2 campuses like DePaul, except in 2 very different cities and regions of Mexico, one in Guadalajara and one in Mexico City. So you can select to be at either of these campuses. This is a model of program. It's an exchange program. And that means that we send to Mexico a couple of students every year, and they send us to DePaul a couple of students every year. You would enroll in kind of any of the classes that they teach there. They happen to be pretty good in business, but have strong classes in some other areas as well. And you live like a regular student there in either of those campuses. You would set up your own housing. You can live, you can get support to set up a homestay or live in kind of like a residence hall. If you have family in one of the locations, that's an option as well.
So the next program is our Lima program, which is in partnership with PUC Peru, which is like the Panamericana program, is an exchange program. I would say this is a really great program for independent type students because you very much are a student at large. You get you register and really participate in all of the activities at PUC and are treated like any of their students while you are there. So you'll get really immersed into the PUC culture. I've had the fortunate opportunity to visit PUC, and it is like an open campus. It's beautiful, lots of green spaces. They host concerts sometimes on campus for students, and there's lots of activities. It's a beautiful campus. But this is for an intermediate advanced level. You need to have a Spanish 106 because all the classes are taught in Spanish. Again, this is a really great program for independent type students because you're also arranging your own housing. So depending what you're looking for, this could be a really great program. And Lima itself is a beautiful city. Peru is a beautiful country. So definitely lots to do there.
And the next is the Merida program, which Claire gave us a great introduction to. I would just reinforce, this is a winter quarter only. You will be with a group of students and a DePaul professor. So we're accepting applications for winter 2022. The deadline for that is May 1st. And the professor is Marcia Good, who is going to teach a class on the Maya. And so this particular winter will have even more of a Mayan theme, Mayan the humanities theme than some other iterations of the program. After that, Mexico City, Iberoamericana. So this is another program that's, I would say, structured much like the Panamericana or the Lima PUC program. You know, a big institution, and you are a student there with really access to everything that the campus has to offer. I would say for Iberoamericana, it's important to know they're a Jesuit institution. They have some neat opportunities for service learning or community service, if that's something that you like to do in Chicago or where you are living now. And housing is a similar situation. You can set up a homestay, you can live in an apartment. This also requires an intermediate or advanced level of Spanish. Should plan to take your classes in Spanish. And then the last, there's you may have heard of an opportunity that's happening right now where some of our students are taking one class this and next quarter online at Iberoamericana during this pandemic. So I know there's someone on the call actually who's enrolled in this. These classes are just getting started right now. And this is something that we're doing for sure. It's really their semester, our winter, spring quarters, and something that depending on how it goes, we may be able to offer in the future. So maybe if you are not able to travel or not able to travel for a certain term, you may be able to take a class there, which is a pretty neat opportunity.
Next program, and the last program for our term-long options, is Viña del Mar. This is another really great program in South America. And the Viña program is structured where actually, if you're an intermediate advanced level, you can certainly take courses taught in Spanish, but if you have a low level or a basic level of knowledge of Spanish, they do have a set list of courses taught in English. So you can take some of those courses or low-level Spanish courses. So if you're not at the intermediate advanced level and are interested in studying abroad in Latin America, this is a good program to look. They have great support there. They'll set up, a set of orientation activities to welcome students when they arrive, but throughout the semester there, they also have a series of activities they offer students to participate in. And then in terms of housing for this program, students do arrange their own housing. There is a homestay option. There's an organization that students have worked with in the past where you can arrange a homestay option, or you can do apartments or another housing type while you're there.
So for the short-term programs, just one quick kind of piece of information, almost disclaimer. So the term long programs, these programs will run every single year on the schedule. Some of them are offered both fall and winter/spring, meaning kind of a spring semester. Other those are just offered in the fall or academic year. The short-term programs, these are the programs that are typically offered every year. There's a few of them that, because of whatever reason, they may be offered every other year. There may be some change to them. So we'll just mention these quickly, and perhaps Professor Carmen, you could introduce your own program.
Yeah, so in December, right at the beginning of December, we'll be going to Argentina. Starting out in, students will take 2 courses. This study abroad program is connected to 2 courses taught in the fall quarter: the World of Wine and Argentina, an introduction to Argentina's history and culture. And that course on Argentina, you can take it in Spanish or in English. So you can get Spanish credit for it. And we'll go to Buenos Aires and at the beginning of this trip and explore the city, the capital city, and then go to Mendoza, the wine producing region, and visit vineyards and see wine production. Now, you may say, I'm not 21, I can't go on this trip because I'm not old enough to drink wine. Well, the drinking age is 18 in Argentina, and so you can go. That doesn't, but studying wine, you don't have to be already interested in wine to get excited about this course, because as you're studying any sort of cultural production, it's a fantastic way into the culture. And you may find that you're interested in wine, but you can learn a lot of other things along the way about economics, about business, about agriculture, history. And so I encourage you to talk to me or my colleague if you have any interest in the program. It's run before and is a great success. So I'd like to hear from you if you're interested.
Great. I'm going to give a quick introduction to a couple of these programs that are typically offered in the summertime that unfortunately will not be offered in the summer 2020 because of the pandemic, but hopefully will come back in 2022. So the program in Cuba, Cuban Realities and the Changing World, that's has a focus on history, language, and culture. The Ecuador Galapagos Evolution and Society is a science-based program, but it's actually created mostly for non-majors. So if you're interested in evolution, in how that relates to society, and it's an opportunity to go to the Galapagos Islands, which is pretty unique. Spain, an international perspective on the work-life balance. That's a program out of the business school that looks at that exact issue. That was actually offered this December as a virtual option. So it will be hopefully offered again in December, either in person or virtual. Cinema and the City goes to a couple of cities in Spain, looks at Spanish film, and the same thing, and connects to culture. That's for a few weeks. It's a spring enrollment with a couple of weeks in the summer of travel. And the Spain research program, that is a program primarily for biology and chemistry students in Cadiz, Spain, looking at marine life there. And then Alma will give a few words on the Peru program, which she's very familiar with.
So the Peru Forest Mining and Communities program focuses on the social and environmental impacts of extraction and commercialization of natural resources in Peru. This program is a partnership between 2 faculty, one from CSH and the other faculty member from LAS. So you can get science credit and also experiential learning credit through the 2 courses offered on this program. It's one course is offered in the fall and the other course is offered in the winter, with travel in between in December. And they visit a variety of cities in Peru and really connect you to local communities there, talking to to locals to understand really that impact while you're there of the impact of extraction on the communities.
Great. So we'd like to open up to any questions. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask any questions or to pop those into the chat.
Hello, how's everyone doing? So I'm a first year grad student, and I received the email and I went to the website and I noticed a couple of the study abroad programs, like specifically like I said in the chat, the London Design Technical Studies, I believe it is. I'm a creative producing student, so I think that's the only one that fits in the realm that I'm in per se. I don't know about all the study abroad programs that you guys offer. And like you mentioned just now, the cinema in the city, that will also appeal to my program and like the direction I'm going, but it's not offered. Sorry about the siren, sorry. So yeah, so that's my question. Like, do I qualify for any of these since I'm a grad student? And I know a couple of them are undergrad in the description. I don't know if that's true or not. So, you know, just general information basically, because I'm curious about the whole thing.
So thanks for the question, Danielle. There are actually most of the short-term programs that that DePaul offers either allow for or even are designed in part for graduate students. So there are a couple of programs because you're in CDM and in the SOC, I think.
Correct.
Yeah. So there are a couple of your faculty that are running programs. The Cinema in the City would certainly take students from your program, so that could be an option for you. And there are a few others that are outside of Spain and Latin America, if you're open to that, where you've got faculty in your area who are running programs. So you and I can connect offline, and I can maybe connect you with some of them so you can learn a little bit more about those.
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely. I would definitely appreciate that. Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks for the question.
No problem. Thank you.
Kateri, did you have a question?
Yeah, I did. So the first question I have is about, I know that there's a specific like office in Nepal that has to do with like transferring credits. But I had a specific question. I think that Professor Glenn, you might be able to help me out with this one. You were mentioning that some of these classes could be, if you're taking like content classes, even if they're in a foreign language, they could be counted for. I believe learning domains. I'm pretty sure I had that conversation with my advisor, but I was wondering if I was taking content classes in Spanish, if those would be able to be Spanish credits, even if they don't specifically relate to one of the DePaul courses offered, and if so, whether or not there's like a cap on that. Because abroad, there were some education classes that I thought were really interesting, like the history of education in Mexico. There was one that talked about how we can use families as a tool to improve education. There's another one on like the biological basis for learning, how we learn whatever that word is, I forgot. But I know that those aren't literature courses, nor are they linguistic courses. So I was wondering if there's a cap on the maximum amount of courses I could take to count as Spanish electives that don't have to do with a specific related course at DePaul.
Okay, great question. And we deal with this a lot. We have a lot of students taking a variety of courses, and how can they fit into the major? It's a lot easier. The minor is very flexible in that sense, but the major does have some specific requirements, and including linguistics and literature. Mainly, most of these courses would simply count as the electives within the major, and there are 4 main general electives within the major. If it goes beyond that, then we look specifically at the general component of the whole package of courses that you're taking. We do want students to take a course in linguistics. It's important to take at least one course in linguistics. And then as far as the literature is concerned, yes, we have designed a program with some literary studies, specific literary studies, but there are certain goals there that sometimes other classes can meet. And we're interested in students having a variety of classes. And so we're usually open to having these classes count, but we would look at it on a case-by-case basis to see how they counted exactly. One thing I'd say is we want everyone to take some class that's about an earlier time, either Middle Ages or early modern time, either in Latin America or Spain. We want, we don't want everything to be about now. And so somewhere in your curriculum, there has to be something like that. But we're, we've adapted courses like the ones you've mentioned into a Spanish major. And so as far as the other way around, as far as courses counting for learning domains, this is something that I don't have control over, but that students have been able to do. And I think that Marty and Alma can talk more about that if you wanted them to. I'm not sure that's exactly, wasn't the main thrust of your question.
Yeah, no, that's an awesome answer. I wanted to be able to go abroad for a full year instead of just going for a semester. So I saved up the majority of my learning domains to be able to take those in Spanish, so I could just get an idea of just like, how do I, physics in Spanish. Wow, that'd be awesome. Learn about physics in Spanish. But in order for me to extend that to a whole year, I needed to be able to have more available classes. I'm in the WLE program, so I don't have any specific linguistic or literature requirements for Spanish, for the exception of the, I think it's SPN 358 or 352. I do have to take that class, but the other 7 is just, I can take like 3 300 level classes and 4 200 level classes in Spanish. And it said that would count. For learning domains, yes. If any of the other 2 coordinators have any more information on that, I was pretty sure that would work. Taking a physics class in Spanish hopefully would count as my physics class at the Paul. I don't know if you guys have had any issues with students trying to do that and not working out. But yeah, so far I've gotten a good amount of information. Thank you.
Just real quick to clarify that last point, that yes, if you're interested in a class to count toward a learning domain or toward physics or toward anything else in your requirements outside of Spanish that we've already covered, we have a list of, your study abroad advisors will help you do that. We maintain a list on each of the websites for these programs that you can click on and see what has already been approved for other students, and then what has that been approved at. We use the word articulation, meaning, physics 106 at Panamericana counts as physics 104 at DePaul, for example. Anything that's on that list, the answer. Anything that's not on those lists doesn't mean that it's not approved. It just means that we haven't reviewed it yet. So you'll contact your study abroad advisor, and then we will take a syllabus for that class, and we will get it to the right place, and we will send it out for review and see what it would count at DePaul.
Alrighty, thank you so much.
Other questions? Thanks so much, everyone, for attending. Please feel free to reach out to any of these presenters, including your awesome classmates who presented here, with questions about programs you're looking at more general questions about study abroad, whatever it is. And we look forward to connecting with you in the future. Bye-bye.
Thank you.